Welcome to the Particle Illusion 3 QuickStart video. On the right of the interface is the library window, where all the particle emitters are stored. Above the library is the preview window, where by clicking and dragging the mouse, you can test out the motion and look of an emitter. You'll notice a variety of effects in the default library, from sparkles to smoke to water. To add an effect to a scene, select an emitter in the library and click in the center stage window. By moving up to the play controls and hitting play, you can get a look at what the emitter looks like on the stage. You'll notice that some information has appeared on the left side of the screen in the hierarchy window. The hierarchy window shows you what emitters are in the scene and allows you to access controls to customize the effect. Adjusting the zoom graph allows you to increase or decrease the emitter's overall size. The spin graph changes the rotation of an emitter's particles. The number graph controls the amount of particles emitted. The life graph controls how long a particle stays on the screen. Visibility allows you to fade your emitter in and out. Let's take a look at some of the other properties that can be changed by right-clicking on the emitter and choosing Properties. Properties has a hierarchy window on its left side similar to the one in the main interface and a large preview window on the right side. At the bottom of the hierarchy window, you'll notice a small star icon beside the word tendrils and another star beside spinning. The star icon indicates a particle type. Several particle types consisting of different effects can be added together to make up a particle emitter. A particle shape is an image that makes up an individual particle. At the top of the page, you can see the image that's currently being emitted by the particle type. You can change it by selecting a new shape from the list and clicking Make Active. Using a different shape changes the look of a particle type. You can add your own shapes to the library by clicking the Add New Shape to Library button and choosing an image file. We'll go with the diamond star shape and make it active. If you click the full emitter checkbox under the preview window, you can see what the new shape looks like in the overall particle emitter. You can also change the color of a particle type by clicking on the Colors tab. The white strip defines the color of the particles. You can change the color by clicking on a point and choosing a color from the picker. Clicking at another area of the strip adds another color point. We'll choose red for that one. Now each particle will start out yellow, become orange, and then red. Let's also change the tendril particle type's color by clicking on the color point and choosing blue from the picker. Previewing the full emitter lets us take a look at the changes together. Hitting OK saves the changes you've made to the emitter since you entered the Properties window. You can animate an emitter's position in the stage window. Click on the select arrow or hit the A key. Moving the emitter at frame 1 sets the emitter's initial position. We can roll forward through time in the graph window to frame 20 and move the emitter to a new position. You'll notice a little box has appeared in the graph window above 20. That indicates that a position keyframe has been set at frame 20. Changing the position will adjust the motion of the emitter. Let's move ahead in time and move the emitter again. A new keyframe is set and you can see small dots between each keyframe on the stage to indicate the motion of the emitter. Right now, the emitter is moving directly from point to point in a straight line. You can change that by alt-clicking on a keyframe to convert it to a curve. Now the emitter follows a much smoother path as it travels. Another way to animate an emitter's position is to draw the motion in the stage. You can do this by right-clicking on the emitter and choosing Record Position. Left-clicking once will start recording the movement of the mouse's position on the stage, and left-clicking a second time will stop the recording. Once you've stopped recording, you can smooth the motion of the recorded path with a point smoothing slider. Hitting play shows you the newly created animation. The final window is the Layers window. From here, we can add a video clip or sequence of images to the stage. Right-click and choose Background Image from the menu. A browser appears for you to find your background. A pop-up appears with some options for how to deal with the video. We'll stick with the defaults and hit OK. Hit play to watch the combination of the clip and the emitter. Let's have a look at some of the other functions of the Layers window. The T button controls the layer's background transparency. If your clip contains an alpha channel, you can turn it on and off by clicking the T. The target icon turns the display of objects on the stage on and off. Clicking it once hides the emitter and its key points. The third icon hides and unhides any particles on that layer. The BG icon turns the display of the background image on and off. To export the scene on the stage as a video clip, click on the red Save Output button. Type in a file name and hit Save to access the output options. This page allows you to set a range of frames to output and the size of the final video. Click OK to move on. Finally, pick a video codec that you wish to output with and click OK. Particle Illusion plays back the animation as it saves it to file. Here's a quick look at some of the new interface enhancements in Particle Illusion 3. Rolling your mouse's scroll wheel down will zoom out on the stage, and rolling it up will zoom inward. Clicking the middle mouse button and dragging around in the stage will scroll around the window. These two functions together give you a quick way to zoom in on specific areas of the stage. Right-clicking in the stage and choosing Reset Scroll and Zoom will zoom out to 100% and recenter the stage window. With the select arrow activated as your cursor, hold down the Shift key while clicking the left mouse button and drag left to right. This is a much faster way to move through the timeline than moving your mouse to the graph window or up to the current time display. In previous versions of Particle Illusion, you could only change an emitter's position if you were at a specific frame. In version 3, you can select and adjust position key points at any time and move them around. You can also adjust handles at any time, giving you a much quicker workflow in editing the motion of your emitters. Clicking Ctrl-Shift-S will turn on the new Safe Area overlay. This places an action-safe and title-safe rectangle over the stage, making it easy for you to keep your emitters within a viewable area. Also added are new aspect overlays to mask areas off on the stage. By opening the project settings, we can select two different aspect ratios. Overlay A can be toggled on and off by hitting Ctrl-Shift-A, and Overlay B can be toggled by hitting Ctrl-Shift-B. Alt-A can now change the stage view from displaying the RGB value of your emitter to showing the emitter's alpha channel. Project files now contain thumbnail images that show exactly what's contained inside the IP3 file. You can update the thumbnail by moving to a frame you like, hitting Ctrl-T, and then saving the file with Ctrl-S. Now if we select the file for opening, you'll notice that the thumbnail is a miniature copy of what's on the stage. There are a few enhancements to the playback toolbar. As in previous versions of Particle Illusion, the first box shows the current frame. The second box is the project start frame. If you set it to 30, that is where your project will start from when you hit play. Rewinding the project will return it to frame 30. The third box is the project end frame. If you change it to 90, the project will stop playing when it reaches frame 90. A new loop function has been added to the playback controls. Clicking it and hitting play will rerun the area between your start and end frames over and over. By holding down Control and hitting the right arrow key, you can jump ahead 5 frames. Holding Control and pressing the left arrow key will jump backwards in 5 frame increments. Pressing the down arrow will jump to the next set keyframe. Pressing the up arrow will jump backwards between keyframes. Alt-clicking on a keyframe point in the graph will convert it into handles, allowing you to get much finer adjustments. Alt-clicking on a handle once will allow you to break the tangent. Several changes have been made to the layers and hierarchy windows of Particle Illusion. In this example, we have a blue and pink spinning stick emitter on a layer named Spin Sticks, and a light ray emitter on a layer titled Sparkle Rays. In previous versions of particle illusion, reordering layers was done by right-clicking in the Layers window and choosing Move Up or Down from a menu interface. In version 3, you can move a layer by clicking on its name in the hierarchy window and dragging it on top of another layer. The moved layer will always appear below the layer it has been dragged onto. You can now hide an emitter by clicking on the target icon beside its name in the hierarchy window. The target will gray out to let you know that the emitter has been hidden. Click once more to make the emitter reappear. You can also hide particle types. In this example, we have two particle types within the Spin Sticks particle emitter, pink sticks and blue sticks. After clicking on the particle icon beside the pink sticks, the corresponding particles vanish from the stage. Clicking it again unhides the particle type. Entire layers can now be duplicated by right-clicking on the layer's name and choosing Duplicate Layer. There are several improvements to the library window. Right-click in the window and move your mouse to Quick Load Library to access any IL3 file saved in your emitter libraries folder. This puts your favorite libraries within a click for quick access. Thumbnails have been added beside each emitter in an IL3 library. Let's create some thumbnails for an older IEL library file. Once we open the file, you'll notice only target icons beside the names of each emitter. Right-click and choose Update All Images. Particle Illusion cycles through all the emitters in the library and adds a thumbnail accordingly. You'll notice that our first few emitters simply display a black square because the emitter colors in Preview window colors were black. We can right-click in the Preview window and change the background color to gray. Now by right-clicking the emitter's name and choosing Update Image, or hitting Ctrl-T, we can update a single emitter's thumbnail. Background images can now be displayed in the Preview window by right-clicking and choosing Color, then Image. A list of images contained in the Preview Images folder appears. This is especially handy when looking at libraries with emitters that use the new Get Color from Layer function. A Layouts command has been added to the View menu. It allows you to save 10 different window setups. Each can be accessed either from the View menu or by pressing Alt plus the corresponding number on your keyboard. You can also make and save your own window setups to suit your workflow. Once the setup is to your liking, you can save it by entering the View menu and choosing a setup to save it over. You can also quickly save a setup by holding down the Control key and pressing a number between 0 and 9 on your keyboard. To change the name of the new layout, go to the View menu and choose Layout Names. Now you can switch the name to whatever you like. A new status bar area has been added to the bottom of the Particle Illusion interface. The first area shows whether you are displaying the RGB or alpha channel in the stage. If we hit Alt-A to display the alpha channel, you can see the status bar change from the word RGB to alpha. The second area shows the zoom level of the stage window. If we zoom in and out, the box displays the current zoom percentage. The third area tells us the mouse's position in the stage. The fourth area displays the number of emitters on the stage and the number of emitted particles. Let's add a few more emitters to the stage. Now when we look at the status bar, it tells you that there are 4 emitters and a total of 306 particles. A new Force Object tool has been added in Particle Illusion 3. In this scene, we have a simple point emitter that's shooting particles in a straight line. But what if we'd like that stream of particles to change direction as they travel? We'll rewind the scene and add a Force Object to the stage. You can resize a force by clicking on the square in the bottom corner and dragging it. Now when the scene is played, the particles begin to turn to the right as they enter the area defined by the force. Let's take a closer look at the force itself. There's an arrow in the center of the box pointing right. That is the direction that the force is pushing. You can change that by selecting the direction property from the hierarchy window and changing it. The arrow rotates to show what direction the force is now pushing in. The strength property increases or decreases the amount of pressure that the force is putting on the particles, speeding them up or slowing them down. The more strength that's applied, the more the stream of particles will bend. The size of the force object also affects how the particles are affected. The longer that the particles are inside the box, the more force is applied to them, and the more the direction changes. The angle property rotates the entire force object. In this example scene, the angle of the forces were animated to match the spinning blades of the windmill. You can animate any property of the force, so particles can be pushed in different directions with different strengths at different times. Super emitters add a whole myriad of new possibilities to creating effects in Particle Illusion 3. We'll begin by adding a point emitter from the library. It's a simple sparkle effect. Right-click on the emitter and choose Make Super Emitter. As you can see, the effect has changed in the stage window. Let's turn off the particle display to see what's happening. Little rings are being emitted from the super emitter. Each of those rings represents a free emitter. Instead of emitting particles the way a normal emitter does, think of a super emitter as a launching pad for other emitters. The super emitter is firing out free emitters, which in turn are shooting out particles. Although right now the hierarchy looks similar to a normal emitter, there are some subtle differences. First, you'll notice the little red dot inside the ring icon indicating that this is a super emitter. The tiny dot inside the circle icon indicates a free emitter type. If you hit the plus, you'll really begin to see the differences. Not only are there settings listed for the super emitter and the free emitter type, but for particle types as well. Adjusting the F properties changes how the free emitters behave. If you adjust the F weight, the free emitters begin to fall. Adjusting their velocity will control how fast they move away from the super emitter. You can have multiple free emitter types contained within one super emitter. Let's add another emitter to the stage. Right-click on it in the hierarchy window and choose Add to Super Emitter. Choose the super emitter that you want to add it to from the list. Now, a new free emitter type appears under the super emitter in the hierarchy window. Hit play to see what's happened. The colored lights are getting fired out with the sparkles. You can adjust the settings for each free emitter type independently. So we can make the sparkles fall by adjusting their F weight and make the stage lights tiny by adjusting their F zoom. Let's have a look at the new Library Manager. You can access the manager by right-clicking in the library window and choosing Manage, or by hitting Ctrl-M. The window on the left contains the library that's currently loaded in Particle Illusion. The center window is a preview window similar to the one in the main interface. We'll load up a temporary library to show off some of the manager's features. You can easily add and delete new folders from the buttons at the bottom of the current library window. You can also add new emitters into the library and delete them. By selecting a particle type within an emitter, you can add, duplicate, or delete them as well. The button with the big red X clears all the emitters out of the current library, leaving only a blank emitter. The bottom window contains a listing of all the library files contained in the emitter libraries folder. You can add a new folder path by clicking the Add Library Path button and using the browser to locate the folder you want. You'll notice that this folder contains a few dozen emitter libraries. We'll select the first one in the folder and open it. The new folder path has been added to the window, and all the libraries contained in that folder are now displayed. When you select a library, a list of all its emitters will appear on the right-hand side of the screen in the selected library window. The selected emitter appears in the preview window. You can now easily add an emitter from the selected library to the current library by clicking the Add button. You can also open up any of the other libraries in the path and add their emitter to the current library. Back in the current library window, you can drag and drop particle types between emitters, allowing you to create new effects quickly.